Alright, Leviticus chapter 13. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, and let me get this a little bit closer. Whoops. It's going to be long, but and the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising and scab or broad spot in it, be in the skin of flesh like the plague of the lips, then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in the sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot be white in skin on the flesh, and the sight be not deeper than the skin of the hair, therefore be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him and the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh, and when the hair of the plague is turned white, and the plague is slight and deeper the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy, and the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean. If the bright spot he right in the skin of his flesh, and sight be not deeper than the skin of the hair, therefore be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that had plague 7 days, and the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be at stay, and the plague spread sight be astray, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more, and the priest shall look on him again the 7th day, and behold, the plague be some what dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin after he had been seen on the priest, for his cleaning, he shall be seen of the priest again. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab setteth in the skin, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, it is a leap of necessity. When the plague of the leprosy is a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest, and the priest shall see him and behold, if the rising be written in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh, and the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean. And if the leprosy breaks out aboard in the skin of the leprosy, cover all the skin of him that had the plague from his hand even to his foot. Whosoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy and cover all his flesh, shall pronounce him clean. That him the plague, it is all the turn white, he is clean. But when the flesh appear in him, he shall be unclean. And the priest shall see the raw flesh and pronounce him unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean, and it is a leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turns again and be changed unto white, he shall come unto the priest, and the priest shall see him. And behold, if the plague be turned unto white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that had the plague, he is clean. The flesh also, in which even the skin therefore was a boil and a headed, in the place of the boil there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white and somewhat radish, and it be showed to the priest. If when the priest seeth it, behold, it be sight lower than the skin, and then hair therefore be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hairs, then, and if it be no lower than the skin, but be somewhat dark, and the priest shall shut him up for 7 days. And if the spread much abundant the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. But if a bright spot stay in his place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if there be any flesh in the skin, wherefore there is a hot burning, and the quick flesh of the burning at the quick flesh and burning have a white bright spot, somewhat radish or white, the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in the sight deeper than the skin, it is the leprous broken out of the burning, wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of the leprosy. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, and the priest shall shut him up for 7 days. And the priest shall look upon him in the 7th day, and if it be spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of the leprosy. And if the bright spot stay in his place, and spread not the skin, but it be somewhat dark in the rising of the burning, and the priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is in formation of the burning. If a man or woman have a plague upon the head or a beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and boil. Behold, if it be the sight deeper than the skin, and there be a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scowl, even a leprosy upon the head or bread. And if the priest look on the plague or of the scarl, and behold, it be not in the sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in that, then the priest shall shut him up, him that had the plague of the skull servant 7 days. And the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if its skull spread not and there be in the no yellow hair, and the skull not be in sight, deeper than the skin. He shall be shaven, but the skull shall he not shave, and the priest shall shut him up, and that had the skull 7 days more. And the 7th day the priest shall look on the skull, and behold, if the skull be not spread in the skin, nor be in the sight deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the skull spread much in the skin after his cleaning, the priest shall look on him, and behold, if the skull be spread in the skin, of the priest shall not seek for yellow hair, he is unclean. But if he skull be in his sight at this day, and there is a black hair grown up there, the skull is head, and he is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man also or a woman have in the skin of flesh bright spots, even white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and behold, if the bright spot in the skin is in their flesh be darkish white, it is the frequent spot, the grown in the skin, he is clean. And the man whose hair is fallen off his head, he is bald, yet is he clean. And he that has his hair fallen off the part of his head toward his face, he is forehead bald, yet is he clean. And if there be a bald head or bald forehead, a white radish score, it is a leprosy sprung up on his head or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall look upon the bald, behold, if the rising of the score be the radish in his bald head of the bald forehead, as the therapy appeared in the skin of the flesh, and he is a leprosy man, he is unclean. The priest shall pronounce him unlordly, unclean, unplagued. His plague is his head, and the leper in whom the plague is his clothes shall be rent in his head bare, and he shall put a covering upon his upper lip, and shall cry, unclean, unclean. All the days where the plague shall be in him, he shall be defied. He is unclean. He shall dwell alone without the camp. Shall he habitate be. The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in wealth, it be woolen garment or linen garment, wherever it be the wrap or woof of linen, or a woolen whether in the skin or in anything made of skin. If the plague be greenish or radish in the garment or in the skin, either in the wrap or the woof, in anything of the skin, it is plague of leprosy, and shall be shown unto the priest. And the priest shall look upon the plague, and shut up it that had the plague 7 days, and he shall look on the plague on the 7th day. And if the plague be spread in the garment, either in the wrap or in the woof or the skin, or any work that is made of skin, that plague is a fitting leprosy, it is unclean. He shall therefore burn the garment, whether wrap or woof, and woolen, or in the linen, or anything of the skin, where the plague is, for it is a friendly leprosy, it shall be burnt in the fire. And if the priest shall look and behold, the plague be not spread in the garment, either in the ruff or in the woof, or in anything of skin, then the priest shall command that they wash that thing wherein and plague is, and he shall shut it up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on the plague after that it is washed, and behold, if the plague had not changed, his cooler at the plague be not spread, it is unclean. Thou shalt burn it in the fire. It is flet in wood, whether it be bare within or without. And if the priest look and behold, the plague or be somewhat dark after the washing of it, then he shall rend it out of the garment, or out of the skin, out of the warp, or out of the woof. And if it appears still in the garment, either in the ruff or in the woof, or in anything of skin, it is a spreading plague. Thou shalt burn that warp in the plague is with the fire. And the garment, either warp, or whatsoever thing in the skin it be within, thou shalt wash it. The plague be departed from them, then it shall be washed, and the second time shall be clean. This is the law of the plague of the leprosy in the garment of woolen linen, either in the warp or woof, or anything of the skin, to pronounce it clean, or to pronounce it unclean.